Welcome to Thursday, April 23rd. A Pacific cold front is bearing down on the Rocky Mountain West and High Plains. So after what has been 3 fabulous days, well, we're going to get back into some cooler, wet springtime conditions, but really nothing too bad, very typical for this time of year. We have a Pacific cold front that is coming our way that is going to bring showers to rain and snow to the plains. We're going to have some heavy, wet snow falling in Wyoming's mountains. In fact, already the mountains of Wyoming and northern Colorado seeing snow developing as we speak. High pressure, though, is going to return for late in the weekend and into early next week. And boy, next week, the long-range trend for next week still looks really, really mild. The last days of April and the first couple of days of May are going to be quite warm. So if you don't have spring fever yet from the last few days, you're certainly going to get it by late this weekend and early next week. This is what precipitation looks like with this next Pacific front. Showers and thunderstorms are going to be developing and moving southeast from the Pacific Northwest region up here. This is where the activity's been, and it's going to be trending southeast here over the next 48 hours. Even yesterday, we had a few surprise showers and thunderstorms pop up in some parts of southern Wyoming and northern Colorado, just an indication that the atmosphere is getting more moist, more unstable, which is typical for this time of year. As we've shown you in other graphics this week, you can see that certainly there's going to be some good amounts of moisture in the mountains of Colorado and Wyoming with this system over the next 48 hours. This is going to add to already some really good snowpack numbers. The high country is going to get another, 6 to 12 inches of snow in the higher mountains of Wyoming and Colorado out of this. For those of you waiting to try to get into your mountain cabin, it's going to be delayed a little bit longer because of this storm system. Now, some needed precipitation. Some areas of eastern Colorado and northwest Kansas are pretty dry, as well as some pockets of western Nebraska. But there should be some moisture coming with this system, mostly in the form of rain on the plains. There's going to be some wet snow tonight. Places like Laramie, places like Cheyenne, the high elevations of I-80 will see wet spring snow tonight into early Friday. But by Saturday, we're going to see temperatures starting to rebound, and you can see the snowfall forecast hugging really close to those higher terrain areas. But if you're going to be traveling tonight or Friday, kind of keep that in mind. This is what the jet stream pattern is going to be by tomorrow morning and late tonight. You can see that northwest flow pumping in that Pacific colder air and Pacific moisture. However, by Sunday, look at the trajectory of air for us coming from the central Pacific. So we're going to be looking at mild air getting driven in off the west coast and into the Rockies. Now, by next Monday and Tuesday, we do have a little bit of a ripple. See this guy right here? We may end up with a little bit of a cold front Monday night and Tuesday that could trigger some showers and thunderstorms, but it's going to be very mild before this front hits, so we don't expect it to do a lot. We'll keep an eye on it. By next weekend, high pressure is extending. Warmer air now coming from Southern California. So there is the real likelihood of a lot of 70-degree temperatures next week. Even some low 80s in portions of eastern Colorado and western Kansas could happen as early as Monday and Tuesday. This is what the 10-day temperature forecast looks like. Wanted to show you over the next 10 days, average temperatures in the west are going to be warmer than average. The colder than average temperatures are going to be in the eastern parts of the United States. They get it for a change. Still have some cold air up here. This is always something you got to watch. As we get into May, some of these colder pockets could swing in and give us some May fun with winter weather still. We're never out of the clear really until the second or third week of May. But certainly it is going to be a lot more spring-like in the days ahead. Just a couple of tidbits here. Not a lot of folks know this, but did you know that Boulder, Colorado has had their snowiest year on record, going back all the way to 1908 or 1909? So kind of under the radar is the fact that some of the mountains of Colorado and Wyoming and some of the higher elevations and some, not everybody, but some areas have had a pretty snowy winter. One reason for that is it got a really early start in October and November. Going back to the solar activity, note that the recent solar cycle, which is right now, solar cycle 25, we've had the most sun spotless days going back all the way to solar cycle 10. So this is an historic solar minimum, and we'll talk more about this next week. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast.